Let's go to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Let's talk Ole Miss. Let's talk Penn State. Ole Miss is catching 4.5. The Big Ten is undefeated in bowl games so far this year.
No surprises there. Rutgers doing their thing. I think I picked. By the way, I picked against all three of them. I'm 0-3 in the
I
Big Ten games so far.
I believe I also picked against all three of them. I picked Miami. I picked Bowling Green. Put very little points in Bowling Green.
Just picked against Ohio State there with Missouri.
I just picked against Ohio State there, and here we go. Ole Miss, Penn State. Do I learn my lesson? Sometimes. Sometimes I learn my lesson. Here's the thing, though. Ole Miss's defense is insanely fraudulent. It's so fraudulent. Now, we could talk about their transport class and their upcoming class next year and how their defense is going to be a lot better. I get it. I understand that sentiment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not next year. This is the postseason of the 2023-2024 season. Okay. We are talking about the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. We're talking about this Penn State team that offensively has at times struggled, but they've also got it done at times. So are they going to be able to run the ball on this Ole Miss front seven? I don't know. They couldn't really run it against some other teams that shocked me. Some other teams that I would have expected them to run the ball really well against, and they didn't do that. I don't think Ole Miss has a ton of opt-outs here that we're looking at. Nothing big. Michael Trigg, who's a guy that pretty much got kicked off the team. I mean, it looks like they're getting everyone. Okay, I guess Cedric Johnson's a big one. Yeah,
That's really
I
it.
don't see anything. And then, you look on the other side, you're looking at Chop Robinson, Johnny Dixon, who are, kind of really, really good players for that defense that I think can definitely change a game. And then Olufashanu, of course, your starting tackle could potentially. I don't know if he's playing or not, to be honest. I have no idea. I don't think it changes a ton for me.
No.
But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this game I am actually super excited for. You mentioned not a ton of opt-outs. Both these teams pretty much at full strength. Not a lot separating these programs, I don't think, in terms of where they are in the national landscape. I think both of them are behind some damn good blue bloods in their conference, but are gaining a lot of momentum on the recruiting trail and in the transfer portal. Penn State trying to make some move, get some good receivers for Drew Alar for next year. Ole Miss obviously revamping that defense and getting some studs on the offense as well, like they always do. Lane Kiffin, you got no Manny Diaz there for Penn State, which will be a big loss there for them, I do believe. They also kind of fired their offensive coordinator mid-season, and they kind of been running a co-offensive coordinators. They'll do that, continue to do that in the bowl game as well. This is very interesting. I think the matchups here, Penn State, you've seen them in only real two games that I can really test them on, right? In Michigan and Ohio State. And they kind of got out physical, and I thought in both those games. And we'll see if Ole Miss can do that there. I don't know. I'm really excited to see what Drew Alar can do and see if they push the ball, see if they try to get him in space and use that big time arm talent that he has. I don't know. I'm just sick and tired of seeing 5 wide on like 3rd and 7 and then him having to take a sack or throw under pressure and it's a duck or whatever it is. It's 3 yards short of the receiver on a comeback route. It's very frustrating in those big games, as I'm sure Penn State fans understand. We'll see though. You mentioned Ole Miss minus 4.5. They have
Plus 4.5.
I'm sorry, plus 4.5. They are having huge momentums on the recruiting trail and in the portal. But yeah, sometimes that's like you kind of have to separate that from reality that is right now. That like, hey, those guys are coming next year. Like they're not going to be in here this year. And I don't know. Penn State and bowl games, man, they're pretty darn good. I know Lane Kiffin does his thing as well, but I'm gonna go Penn State here. I think minus 4.5 is about as high as I'd go. I would not take it anywhere near 7, but yeah, I'll go Penn State minus 4.5.
I'll fade you. I'll take Ole Miss plus 4.5, and I'll take them to win as well straight up. Yeah, and mostly because I just don't know what I don't trust Penn State's offense. That's kind of the thing. Now, Ole Miss's defense is absolutely terrible. So could Drew Alar throw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns? I'm sure.
And maybe this is the game the running backs finally get going.
Finally. Yeah, maybe. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about Penn State's defense that I'll say. It is a very good defense, I think. All right. What is the best offensive team that Penn State has played this year?
It was probably Michigan.
Michigan, and is Michigan like an elite offense?
No, no, no. Ole Miss probably has a better offense than Michigan.
I would say so as well. So I'm a little bit just a little bit skeptical, right?
Well,
And you still know, like, is Kalen King opting out? You don't
well,
know.
I think so. King and Daquan Hardy, both corners, are going to play for him. Curtis Jacob as well. Linebacker Theo Johnson, stud tight end, are all expected to play, even though they will be in the NFL draft. Sounds like they're playing in the bowl
Yeah.
game, which is a
I
big
mean,
get for for that team.
Hayden Wilson was also expected to play, so I'm
Well,
just
and that's the thing. A lot of times you get guys on snap
be a
counts.
skeptic.
You got certain
viewers.
packages. You don't really don't know. I'm gonna pick it like they're at full strength. I think they can stop the run. I think they can get after Jackson Dart. I think they can cover some really good receivers in an almost room that's finally getting healthy too. Like they were kind of banged up early in the year and kind of had a battle with some injuries. Hopefully those guys are recovered and had some time in their break there to really get ready for this bowl game.
Now, speaking of getting ready, and for bowl games, Manny Diaz will not be getting ready for this bowl game. Does that have a gigantic impact on this game?
It for sure does. I think that chess match between Lane Kiffin and Manny Diaz would be awesome to watch. Obviously, Manny Diaz loves to get after the quarterback, love to disguise fronts and all these things. And the thing is in a tempo that Ole Miss runs, you have to have good communications. Now that's where I love Curtis Jacobs and Abdul and all these guys, um, those linebackers for Ole Miss and the veterans and the secondary and whatnot to really get after it and kind of not going to be negated too much by that up tempo offense. But you don't see it much in the Big Ten. You really don't. And so that's what could catch him off guard. And obviously, having a veteran like Manny Diaz, very familiar with some up tempo offenses, would be nice to have in this game for sure. It does scare me. Not gonna persuade me from picking against Penn State.